Gloves. Pain in the ass. Right, let's see what we got. Righto, what is it? Oh, that looks like a good sized box. Looks rev counter sized. Cheers, man. Right, the rev counter on the bobber is a little digital one in a dash, which is absolutely useless if you want to actually look where you're going or do anything else while looking at it. So for drag racing and getting some good drag racing consistent times, it's pretty useless. So I looked into getting a bigger rev counter, which is what I did. And before I shelled out to buy an Tachometer one or something decent like that, I got myself a cheap one to see if it works. But this is quite cool because it's really thin, so it actually fits on top of the speedo. I just made a little bracket for it there so it fits on the old quick release thing. And this is what happened. Let's have a look at what's arrived in the post then. Got me trusty, rusty razor blade. Looks like pass a parcel. It is like pass a parcel. Oh, that's alright, that's not too bad. Looks like a rev counter. That's awesome, because that fits right over the speedo. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. I'll get another shot of that in a bit. Right, well, I finally got a rev counter sorted out for the bobber. Where is it? It's not here. Hang on. Right, here. It's actually quite a cheap one. I looked into the options of actually getting an Tachometer one, which are really awesome, but they're expensive. But the biggest thing was they're quite deep. And what I wanted to do is fit it on top of the normal speedo just for when I go drag racing. Because the one in here is absolutely useless and you can't see it. But what I've done is this. I've made it quick release because this speedo and everything's quick release anyway, as you can see. And I've wired in my rev counter, which is pretty easy because it's got a conventional way of wiring to the coils. It hasn't got stupid signals from the ECU and stuff like that. So all I have to do is find the plug for this. It's got a bit of foam on the back because it sits on top of the speedo. So just need to plug in me rev counter to the wiring. Can't remember how I did this now. It's been a few days since I set this up. And then now this quick release shaft should go through all of them and hold my rev counter in. It's a little bit tricky, especially since I haven't got my reading glasses on. I can't really see what I'm doing very well. Maybe I should go and get my glasses. Right, it's in. It's a bit tricky to get that through the both of them, but once it's there, it's in. Look. Tighten them up. And there, the rev counter fits just in front of the speedo, look, which is pretty cool. Turn him on, and there you got a rev counter with a shift light and everything as well. It's currently set to 6,000. So this should help with drag racing, be able to see where I'm changing gear. actually really helped with drag racing and getting some consistent times. So I've now discovered exactly what I can get out of the bike in the state it's in. That's going to be in another video, probably the next one. It flickers a bit with on the camera because it must be a similar frequency to the frame rate or something like that. But it was pretty cool. The only problem was, because it's in front of the speedo, I forgot that the traction control was turned on. So my first burnout I did was pretty interesting, to say the least, with the traction control on. But because it's on a pivot, I managed to tilt it up and down every time I had a run so I could turn the traction control off. Which is a pain in the bum, that every time you start the bike up you've got to actually go into it again to turn the traction control off. For drag racing that is a pain when you stop starting all the time, especially when there's things like oil downs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a useful little device for when I go drag racing, and it's quick to put on and take off, so I can take it off when I'm on the street. When it actually is on top of the rev counter, I can actually see the neutral light and stuff like that around the outside of it. But like I said before, the traction control thing's a bit of an issue, but I can tilt it away, have a look behind, and that seemed to do the trick. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to actually shell out for an expensive one, because for the amount of times I'm going to use this, I don't see the point. And I'm not really sure how far I'm taking this drag racing thing. Originally I just started to do it to get a comparison with the D&K Tuneworks, to see how that went. There's another video about that. So whether I'm going to continue drag racing this or not, I don't know, but now it's got to the stage where I need to actually make it quicker, like getting inside the engine, doing camshafts, big bore kits, maybe turbos or superchargers, something further down the line. I don't know where it's going. So I'm sure I'll let you know.